What's up guys, it's Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today I'm doing a video for you on the 10 C's of survivability. And you may be familiar with that term because you've heard it from Dave Canetbury. He's one of the guys on the TV show Dual Survivor, that's on the Discovery Channel. And at his school, the Pathfinder School, he's been putting out videos for a while, and one of those videos is on the 5 C's of survivability, the core 5, and then kind of the next 5. So you got these 10 total C's, 10 different items that start with C. That his kind of philosophy is if you have these 10 things, your survivability rate just goes up and up and up. So I like the concept. I actually learned a lot of my survival stuff from kind of the Native American angle, Tom Brown, and then some other guys who are into Native American survival, and then also just me being into the outdoors and camping and stuff like that. But these 10 C's of survivability, I'm going to go through the gear I have for them and talk about how I store them. So let's start by looking at the first 5, and then we'll look at the next 5 in these 10 C's of survivability. We're going to start by talking about the first 5 primary C's, and then we'll talk about the second 5, like I said. And for the first 5, let me just go through what they are. You got container, covering, cordage, combustion, cutting. So as you can see, my container is really simple. This is just an old soup can that I stripped the outside off of, cleaned out, and I'm using this. Now what I do is actually keep this in a Ziploc bag so that it doesn't get wet, you don't get any rusting issues or whatever. So this is all I got right now. When we're dealing with kind of trying to live tactically every day, sometimes you got financial constraints, so I put money into other things. I didn't have the money to go out and get a metal container, something that was stainless steel, a little bit more expensive. So this is what I got for now. Eventually I'll swap this out and use something else, but in the meantime I've got this guy. And the key thing about this is that you can scoop water and boil water in this, and then you've got a water source that's been, relatively safe. You can't get everything out by boiling, but a lot of stuff you can deal with by boiling. So, container, first thing. Covering, this is a 55-gallon drum bag, or drum liner, I should say. And this will give you covering, keep you out of the water. If it's raining and you have some sort of shelter, you can put this over your shelter, and that'll, definitely keep you dry. It also, you can use this for reflective purposes as well when you're trying to get heat to stay in a certain place, and I'll talk about that probably in a future video when it comes to using a fire effectively when you're out in the woods. And then beyond that, if you had to make a solar still to get water, you could certainly use this. So cup, covering, cordage. This is just your standard paracord. And again, the other nice thing is that if you look up close here, let me just get this like this so you can see all those smaller cords within the paracord. You can use those for sewing or whatever you might need to do. So cordage, and then your combustion. This is just a magnesium block here by Coleman, and you can see I really beat the heck out of this, basically the ferro rod up top. So probably will replace this pretty soon, but in the meantime this guy still works, so I have a way to actually start fire. And then last up is my cutting knife, my cutting object, I guess I should say. Any knife is a cutting knife, but this is the Columbia River Triumph neck knife. And you got paracord here as well. One thing I do really like about this, and I talked about it in the review, but you can run your belt through this. You can run this vertically, like this. You can actually take this guy off and spin it, and you can run it horizontally. So lots of options when it comes to this knife. This guy has a good piercing point, and then obviously good for cutting, and it's relatively lightweight as well. Now, again, eventually, probably even for this guy, I'll upgrade to a larger survival knife that I could baton with more easily when it comes to chopping some stuff down. But in the meantime, at least got these first 5 core items together, and we'll move on now and talk about the second 5 items. Next 5 items, the next 5 C's. First, we got what Dave Canterbury calls cargo tape. Most of us call it duct tape or 100-mile-an-hour tape, whatever. But this is a relatively large amount of it. When the roll was fully circular, just smushed it down, put some rubber bands on, and now I got 2 rubber bands for additional other things, other uses. But cargo tape, if you can't fix it with duct tape, then it's probably not broken, they say. So great option there. Cloth bandana. This is just a standard bandana that I've compressed down again with some rubber bands. This is good for filtering purposes, for signaling purposes. You can also use this for a sling. If you had to, you could actually put this on a wound if you had to stop bleeding directly. Generally want to put something else on top of it before you put a bandana on it, but in a situation where you need it, now I got a cloth bandana. compass. And, you know, in the 10 C's that Canterbury does, he talks about the idea of, you know, a nice one with a mirror off here. Again, future purchase, but in the meantime, at least I do have a compass, great for navigating, and you got a bezel that can be adjusted there. So navigating in the woods is a key thing to learn if you're not familiar with how to do it. So keep that in mind. Candle, that's what he uses. He talks about for the concept of you know, a light. So this is a Princeton Tech. I got this for like $12 or $13, really cheap deal for a great headlamp. And you can see it's got bright setting, lower, and then strobe setting there. So key to having a headlamp, again, both your hands are free. If you had to navigate at night, which again you probably want to avoid doing, but there's one thing. And then also, you know, just being able to operate and do different things, and then having the strobe option will definitely get somebody's attention. So another option there for your candle. And then the other thing he talks about is a cloth sail needle, you know, a big beefy needle, so you could, you know, if you had to put something through leather or put something through some sort of heavier, you know, material like this. I was digging around and couldn't find one of those, so again, in the meantime, this is what I got right now. Just a large needle with a pretty big head. Basically, I just put duct tape on both sides of it, or this is packing tape actually, to keep it safe. If I really, you know, bent this and pushed hard, it would still come through, but in the meantime, this will ride safely in a pack. So there are your next 5 C's: cloth, cloth bandana, cargo tape, compass, cloth needle, and then your candle.